Everybody, welcome to the Shot Clock podcast with me, Jago. Today's episode is with Killester, stalwart. The man was with him from the time he was born until the time he stopped playing. Bar one season with Temple Oak. We won't mention. Paddy Kelly, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Thanks, Jago. Good to see you. How are you going?
I'm good, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. So, look, I've started kind of every podcast with the same question, but now things are transitioning. So, after all the COVID madness, how are you finding getting back out into the real world again?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest, we were sort of probably lucky in that respect, in that, we all had our health for a start. Nobody caught it in the family. Kids were all right. So we just got on with it. The homeschooling was a challenge at times, but we got through it. So, I think it was nice to be able to start transitioning out of that, and start doing other things, but hopefully now we start to get back into normal life and get a holiday. I think we missed the holiday thing, sort of getting the kids away and having different experiences for them. Like, we've a 1-year-old girl, and she hasn't really seen a whole lot other than the four walls of the house, that sort of way, and parks and whatever else, so for her it'd be great now to get away and do something like that.
Yeah, hopefully things keep going in the right direction. Bit of a pause maybe in the next week or two, but hopefully we'll keep going. So, as I said, Killester from the time you were 10, but let's start there. So, who, what, or why inspired you to pick up a basketball for the first time?
Yeah, I was about 10 actually, and it was do you remember John Heary?
I do remember John Heary very well. Very many a battle with John Heary.
Yeah, so John would have been, and John's a good friend of mine, and he's over in Canada now. But back in the day, we used to live in the same neighborhood. We were in the Meadows in Killester, and John was under 13 at the time, and it would have been his dad's friend was Vinnie Green, and Vinnie was inherent in Killester. Like, he would have started a lot of teams and taken a lot of teams at that age. So I think he got John into it. And then John was down playing with Killester under 13 or something like that. And John's about 2 years older than me. So he had started, and they had sort of sent word out to people to say, yeah, look, if anybody's interested. So John said it to us, and we were down around the corner from Killester Court. So we used to go down, and so I said, sure, why not? We'll give it a go. We'll go out with him. So I went out to a couple of his training sessions with Mucky. Mucka was probably was a National League player and was coaching at the time. So I went out and I played with them, and I just kept going to the training. And Mucky was cool as could be, he didn't really care whether I was the right age or I wasn't the right age, right? So I just went out with John and just kept playing. But John was a fantastic player, right? So John was playing 2 years above him. So I was literally, but I'd just go down with them, and I'd be floating around and out in Fintons. And the lads who would have been, he would have been training with, I would have been just joining in. I would have been going to the games and playing. Now, I wasn't getting any game, I basically hadn't really joined, but was just sort of like with the team, and would have gone to do, like, say, the Billy Kelly and this sort of thing, gone down with them, but not actually played. Then somebody, I guess at some stage, had said, you know what, actually, you should probably go and play at your age, So there's an under 13 team, and you can go and play with them. And I was like, well, I don't really want to. Like, I have like the John's here, there's a few other lads here, whatever, and I'll just stay with them, But in the end, then I went and played for Martin Grinnell. So Martin Grinnell was the under 13 coach, and it was Johnny, and there was a few others on the team as well. So I had joined them, and then when I started playing with them, it was like, well, this is far easier, because I used to be playing lads who were 4 years older than me, and they were just like literally getting bounced around. But it helped me, obviously, because I had to try and find a way to do something against these much bigger lads that were doing much more things than I could do. So by the time I went to under 13, I was like, Jesus, grand, you know what I mean? So I enjoyed it then. I got to just start playing, and I was playing football and hurling at the same time. And like, I was lucky at that stage that they were alternating on the days, you know what I mean? So it could have been basketball on the Saturday, football and hurling on the Sunday, and that went all the way and down until I was about 14. And then they clashed, and I sort of said, well, probably better at basketball. So I just picked basketball and went from there, you know. So it was really just the proximity I had to Killester basketball course that made it easy for us to go down, and we were always down there. That was what we did. Is like as kids, we just go down and play in the courts. It was great crack then.
Same as us. We did a court in Kilnamanagh, and myself, Rob Kane, the two Sherrys. Like that's where we spent our summers. You know what I mean? It was just down the court getting shots up. You know, because it was easy. There was nobody worried about insurance or who's claiming off who, or it was just basketball.
Yeah, and so we'd go down, and like literally during the summer, we'd go down. So it would be like, you get up in the morning, have your breakfast, get the ball, go down 10 to 12, 10 to half 12, come back, have your lunch, get the ball again, go back down in the afternoon, come back, have your dinner, go back down. And then at that stage, then in Killester, it was like all of the older lads were coming down for the evening games and whatever, and that was they were great pickup games, you know. And
yeah,
that
the
was
summer
like,
leagues used to be out there; they were unreal.
Yeah,
those games were unbelievable.
So it was great, you know what I mean. But it's a shame. I don't know if that sort of stuff doesn't happen anymore. Like I pass by those courts, and I don't pass by them that often. But if I had, like, you never even see. I've never seen kids in it shooting, you know, and it'd be very seldom now when I'm around there. But it used to be that we'd be there all the time and just constantly, you know, or somebody be there, you know. And so it's just different now, I guess. And it's like you say, it's the insurance thing where you're not allowed in, and the gates are locked and this sort of thing. That's a shame, you know, because like there's facilities there that kids could be using, and then they're not allowed because of insurance reasons. You know, it's just tough.
Yeah, it's tough. It is. It's a pain in the arse. So over the years with Killester, you played with some absolute greats. I remember our cup semi-final in 2006, I'm going to say. You would have had Arno Dahi was playing with you, Bonaparte, a young Michael Bonaparte.
Yeah.
Yourself, Johnny Grinnell. Like it was a Michael Goy, the Polish kid. Like you were stacked. You beat us in the semi on television, which I'll never forgive you for.
Okay.
But over the years, who's been your favorite teammate and why?
Well, like you say, there's been a lot, hasn't there? Like and some superstars, you know. But I think when I look back on it, like there's only one player that would stand out for me that I always loved playing with, because I played with him since I started, you know, and that was Johnny Grinnell. Like, I mean, when we played together, it was like we said sort of a wavelength that we just knew what the other was going to do, you know. So it was like, it was much easier. He was, and like they always say, like the point guards are like the coach on the court, but he totally was. Like he was absolutely a coach. He had such a high basketball IQ that he knew what was going to happen. He knew what way the game was going. He knew what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing, and he was managing everything like that on the court for us, you know. And so for me, he just let me play. Like he did all that sort of stuff, you know. And then, but he knew where I wanted the ball, when I wanted the ball, and it was just it just made everything a lot easier, you know. And like the way he played the game, he had a huge passion for the game, and his energy was like everybody felt it in the dressing room and even on the court, you know. So it was always a pleasure to play with him, because he was always going to give it 110%. You know what I mean? So I loved playing with him, and hopefully it'll happen again now that the Masters are coming around. Albeit that I've been robbed of my Masters debut at this stage. I was hoping to come back and do I'd be the young fella again, you know. But now I'm kicking on into it and hasn't started back. So but hopefully we get back and have.
I only played my first Masters 2 years ago, and like,
is that right?
I'd well qualified. It was only 2 seasons ago. Only 2 seasons ago, I played my first one, and it started as a joke. I text Eddie Gelson, who plays with the Declan's team, and Tony McDonough, saying any spots on the team, and I was literally just having a laugh, you know. And he came back and went, "Yeah, no bother." And I went, "Oh, when is it?" And he was like, 2 weeks. I had to go and buy a new pair of shoes. Like I hadn't owned a pair of basketball boots. To go and buy a pair of boots. Picked up Rob. Actually, Rob King came and collected me. We drove down to Bushy Park, paid her €2 and got some shots up. But they were the first shots I'd taken in probably 7 years.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah.
like, Jesus Christ, oh man, like a fish out of water. I was everywhere where I should have been. But look,
Yeah, yeah.
August 22nd, it looks like it's going ahead this year. So hopefully we get to play against each other, and that'll be a bit of crack.
Yeah, it'd be nice to lace up and just get up and down, and just to see and be around the basketball community again. I guess I've been out of it for a while, so it'd be nice to get back in it. Like with those Wednesday nights that we used to have, which were great, down
Amazing.
down in Rathfarnham here, which is great. But like it's that sort of thing that we missed, like really missed during the lockdown, like whereas you realize that even just the community itself and the banter and that sort of stuff, like just to offload, that sort of way, get up and
That's
down.
it. That hour and a half a week to just be yourself and not have to worry about who's getting the kids ready for bed or work or this to do or
switch off and just run up and down. You know what I mean? And So I look forward to that. Actually. So that'll be good if that gets going.
Who are you playing with?
So who's it? Tommy Costello was texting me. I don't know. Tommy tell you nothing. Like, so he like basically Tommy just tell you you're in, you're out, and then you're in, and then it's like right, grand, and then you find out on the day who you're with. Like so. So Tommy is getting a team, I think. I don't know. But he texted me last week to see if I was in. I said, yeah, should we give it a go?
Lovely.
So that's the plan.
I
actually don't even know when it is. So when did you say it is?
It's the weekend of the 20th or 21st or 24th and 22nd of August. It's that weekend is what's penciled in. So hopefully, look, if restrictions keep lifting, we're brand new,
Where is it?
So they split it between the Oblats, St. Michael's, which is a court in Inchicore, nice court, and the arena.
Oh, cool. The Oblats is a great place to play.
Oblats is a great place. Plenty of history.
You can dunk though. I know lots of people can dunk there.
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah,
they're actually 10-foot rims now. They're 10-foot rims. They used to be about 9-8. Now they're 10 foot.
Okay, yeah. It's still a nice floor though. It's still like it's something about it. I don't know, and it must be the floor or the proximity from the wall to the basket. I don't know. Yeah,
that's a great spot to play. Nice. So over the years, you played in a very competitive time in Irish basketball. Vincent was strong, yourselves. You caught us on the up in 2006 with Kevin Young coaching us. We went 10-0 to start the season. Like we were flying. Luke O'Hay, Ian O'Boyle were playing with us. But who's the toughest person you've had to guard over the years? And then likewise, who played you the hardest when you were out on the court?
So, over the years, actually, the toughest person I've had to guard, and it was early on. I was probably only coming into National League 18, 19-ish, and we're out in the arena playing you guys. And we're in the dressing room. And I remember we were all just sitting there, and it was like, yeah, right, okay. And Martin and Pete Ferrari were coaching, and it was like, I want to say I was 18, 19, so it was skinny little fella, you know what I mean? So, and Martin goes, yeah, and Paddy, you've got Jenks. And I felt the air going out of the room. Everybody sort of thinking, that doesn't sound right, you know what I mean? So, so I started on Jenks, and I was like, well, like, how am I going to guard this fella? You know what I mean? Like, he's just a brute compared to me, and he can do whatever he wants. You know what I mean? So I went out, and no joke, I just hacked him. I absolutely hacked him for the first half, right? I mean, and it was Declan Roach, I want to say, this ref, and Jenks was giving out yards to him, so he's like, oh, he's like, I literally just had to be grabbing his arm and the whole lot. And whatever, because I was just a little fella, he was like saying, will you get out of it? You know what I mean? And so I got away with it, you know what I mean? So I wanted to, I kept him to probably 8 points or whatever, right? And I was like, well, just probably have this. I think we have the hang of it, you know what I mean? So then in the second half, he came out and he decided he wasn't going to get a call inside. So, well, take him outside, and he just draining these for whatever. And like, that sort of three where it's like, okay, so we'll pick him up at the 3-point line, and then he takes 2 steps back and he's hitting them from there. So it was like, he could do everything, you know what I mean? Like, no matter, and those sort of players that most players would sort of have their go-to stuff, that sort of way. And if you shut that down, you'd always know that type of player that you were going after, and you'd sort of say, right, I'll take away his whatever he wants to do main. But like with Jenks, you could take away lots of stuff and you could do lots of other stuff. So like if the energy was there with him, and if he wanted to do it, he could just take over a game and just do whatever he wanted.
You're not the first person to say that. I can't remember who it was. Somebody said one of the earlier episodes that, like that, you're watching this American coming down the court and you're going, right, I'll pick him up from wherever. And he'd pick up and be in his shooting rhythm as they were on the back foot, and they were just like, oh, Jesus. And the shot was gone. And by the time he reacted, it was well gone, and it was in, and he was like doing his little shuffle back on defense, and it was like, you just couldn't guard him. He was unguardable some nights. He really was. Like,
and it, like if he decided that he was going to be, if you pissed him off enough, then he was definitely going to have a go at it. And that night he just went off, from outside, and and I just remember it because he was I didn't have any answers for it. That's the way. No matter what you did. And even his raw power as well, like it was just like he's so strong on the inside, and he had a soft touch around the basket, but also he was able to see the floor really well. Like he was a better passer made out, that's the way. So if you doubled on him, he could see stuff, and then so you could take away, if you got up on him and doubled him, he could pass. If you took away the inside, he could go outside. If you take away the right, he'd go left. That's the way. So it's very hard to guard somebody like that. Normally, it's like if you take away the right, I'm pretty screwed. I'll have to go. That's the way.
Yeah, they're looking at the dish. He never looked at dish. Never.
No, the majority of time, no. But I think towards the end, he probably did, where he had a better American with him and stuff like that. If he had a bigger fella with him. Sometimes he did, but in general, or if he was getting tired in the second half. But that was the earlier years, I guess. So towards the back end, he probably was like that. That he was a bit more ball hungry, I guess.
Yeah. And what about who guarded you the hardest?
Yeah. So in the early years, do you remember a fella on Neptune called Fitzy? Gordon Fitz. Yeah. Fitzy used to be tough. Like I said, I wouldn't have been the biggest fella, but Fitzy used to be as strong as a horse. He was literally one of those sort of players that he was as fast and strong, and he would have been on the wing. That sort of way. So he would have been always sort of guarding those players, and he was a fan of the dark arts, so he knew all the little tricks of the trade, But if he had to lock you down, he was going to do something about it, that's the way. But and normally I'd have a decent bit of stamina that you'd get through it and you'd be able to do something towards the end, but you weren't out running him, And I think that they were the early years. Then there was a guy actually in Tralee, an American in Tralee. What's his name? CJ Hadley, I think his name was. He was an American around the time when Donaghy and Quirk were playing. He was an excellent defender. Now he was another wing, but an on-ball defender, one-on-one, could really just step up. One of those sort of lads that'd be slapping the ground, ready for you. That sort of way. So looking at you, here we go. So and then a few others, I think, whenever I was made into a point guard, I wouldn't have been a great, there's coaches that Mark Ingle actually made me into a point, tried to make me into a point guard, but I can barely dribble on myself, to be honest. So I can get a couple of dribbles towards the basket, but when we were playing Vincent's, you would have been coming up against Emmett Donnelly and Pete, who'd be pressing, and they'd be doing it, and I'm shocking, dribbling without purpose, going to the basket, that's the way. So they used to be tough. But without a doubt, the toughest defender that I've come up against is teammate, Damien Seeley. Damien Seeley used to play week in, week out with Damo, and he was just he was ridiculous. He was so strong, but also so smart on defense. He knew exactly where you were going to go. He knew where he should position himself so that you couldn't move, basically, without having to do something that you didn't want to do. So but I remember when he used to come back from Irish training, he used to be just ridiculous. Like, I mean, I couldn't even get a shot off. I could barely dribble. You know, that's the way, because he was just coming back. He was so fit, so strong, and so mobile, and just able, like, and he was long as well. So yeah, I
Super
couldn't do
player.
anything against him. Couldn't do anything against him. You know, so like having to try and get around him obviously made me a better player, because you're trying to like yeah, just trying to get by. You know, that's the way. But yeah, Dame was a fantastic defender. But in terms of team defense, also, yeah, as well, like Jerome Westbrooks. If you ever came up against Jerome Westbrooks is a fantastic defender. Like, again, playing with him,
Another
no matter what
master of the
age he
dark
was.
arts as well.
Yeah. No matter what, he's brilliant though. Like, I mean, in terms of what he can do on defense and positioning and knowing where to be and help side, and yeah, he's brilliant.
Clever man.
Mm.
So basketball players notoriously superstitious or into their routines. Had you any superstitions or any routines when you were playing?
Yeah, not necessarily superstitions, I would have thought, but yeah, definitely routines, and I'd be a diva for the routines anyway, you know. So I tend to function better in that respect. So I would have yeah, eaten the same thing, the same time out from a game and that sort of stuff, you know what I mean, and packed the same things into the bag or whatever, and gone to the same seat pretty much in the gym, you know what I mean, in the home gym. But yeah, other than that, not a huge thing like, oh, I'll put the left shoe on before the right or anything like that. But yeah, I think routine was that was always something that helped me to sort of I guess calm the nerves or whatever, because you become used to it. If it's a habit, it just become used to it. You don't need to think about it. So that always allowed me to like settle in that respect. You know what I mean? So yeah, but I wouldn't have thought like I was hugely superstitious, you know. But
Yeah, even routines, like it's amazing how calm they make you. Or if something's thrown, that it throws you completely for the whole day. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah,
if you go for your pre-game meal and whatever isn't there, like
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
you get to
yeah.
the gym and you're going, I'm not playing well tonight. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, 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 yeah. Or
silly
you get there
silly
late.
little
I
things.
used to, if you're going to an away game, whatever, and you get there late and the traffic or whatever, and then you just get in, you don't really get a warm up, and then you're thinking in your head, ah, jeez, I'm not warm, I'm not getting going, you know, that sort of way. But if you make your first two shots, you forget about it, you know, and then all of a sudden yeah, we're feeling this, you know. So,
Yeah. Routine? What routine? I
yeah.
don't need a routine.
But you forget about all that stuff. It's just to get you to the start, you know. That's the way. And once the ball goes in the basket, sure, it's all gone. You know, you're in the game.
That's exactly it. So, favorite kicks. What would be your go-to shoe if you could make a Paddy Kelly shoe for the rest of your life, rest of your career? What would you have gone for?
I used to love the Nike Air Flight back in the day. I like the lower ones, like say in and around the ankle. It doesn't have to be over the ankle. And in a lot of respects, I used to hate those ones, but I used to go for the lower the better. And the flights were nice. Now I've gone through a load of them back in the day. You know, the 180s and the Barclays and whatever else. But I used to love the Nike Flight. Actually, like they were never always the more expensive ones. It was always just the middle of the road ones, you know. And I remember Tommy used to give me a hassle about that. It was like, when did you ever go and buy a decent pair of shoes? Because they used to like say they might fall apart halfway through the year, and I just go in and buy the next pair. You know, that was like. But they were always if they were light and low, I was all right with it. Like, and that was good enough for me. I actually once bought a pair of Jordans because everybody used to buy them and thought they were, and so I bought them, and they cut the ankles, cut the back of me feet, like, oh, and I couldn't believe they're the most uncomfortable things I've ever worn in my life. So nowadays, if I go to it, I went to the Kobe's. The Kobe's are nice, you know. Now, actually, I say nowadays, this is probably 5-6 years ago nearly. Yeah, so the Kobe's are the ones I have the most. Like, so if I have to go and play this thing at the end of August, now I'll be busting out these Kobe's if they're still in one piece, if I can find them in the
If
bag.
they're
But
still in one piece.
so they're nice. The Kobe's. I don't know what they're like now. Like, if I have to go look for a pair of boots, I don't even know what they'd be like now. But something nice and low and light.
You want to start looking now if you need to go shopping for new shoes, because Nowhere stocks them anymore.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's so difficult to get a pair of shoes. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like,
Oh, no.
ridiculous. Like, you're walking and going, how's it going? Any basketball boots? No. Oh, all right. And it's like,
But they never have the size anyway, you know what I mean? Like, so it's always like, so I'm a 12, so I was lucky enough, right? Because they normally sort of stop at a 12, and then like that was it, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think, but I guess nowadays, like I'd probably you just go online anyway, pick a 12.
that's
Like
it.
I'd always been Nike, so there's like Nike 12. If it's low, like right, grand, that'll do, you know what I
So
mean?
isn't it great when you stop growing and your feet stop growing? It's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
buying them. I know they're going to fit and I'll be fine.
I
Like,
don't
there's
need to put too
no,
much thought into this.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
not like
I've
I better
worn the
break
last
these
ones and stuff
in, or
like
it's
that.
just like,
Yeah,
are they 12s? Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll
yeah.
take it. Do you want to try them on? Nope.
No,
Straight into
yeah,
the
forget
bag.
it. That's it. I don't even want to pay for them. Take a look.
Yeah. Jesus, if only it was that
Yeah.
easy. So you and four others going to a pickup game. Anyone you want, whether you've played with or played against them during your time in the league, who are you taking? You're playing against, so it's winner stays on. So it'll be you against Elaine Scally, because Scally's unbeaten in, I think, 7 weeks now, her
Oh, is that
team.
right? Geez,
So
I
it's
haven't seen Elaine
her,
in a long
Claire
time now.
Rockall, Dana Finn, Suzanne McGuire, and Emer Howard are her 5.
Yeah, I'll just take
Unbeaten.
them then.
Unbeaten.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So it has to be in the league, does it?
In the
Or
league, yeah. Yeah, you're not picking Kobe and Steph. So it has
no,
to be in
no,
the
no, no.
league.
Yeah. All right, let me see. I think at point guard, then I would go with a player. Actually, right, I'd start off by saying this: it would be too hard to pick everybody that I've played with, right? So I'd turn that because literally, like, even just picking the other guard would be an issue, right? So you'd have Damo, you'd have John B and Michael Goy, Pete Madsen. So like,
Johnny
yeah, and
Grinnell,
then
you've a lot.
yeah, point guards, Johnny Isaac, here we go,
Yeah.
Yank Boney or Jermaine, I don't know. So like, right. So I go other lads
Others,
I've played
okay.
against, right? So I would go at point guard. I would go with a player that I like to players that actually I like their game. I like how they played. So Shane Collin would be the point guard that I'd go with. I always it sort of came up against Shane a lot, obviously throughout the years, because he was a year older than me, so we were coming up at the same time. And Demon's obviously very strong, you know, and so they were always in and around, you know. But Shane is a fantastic eye. He's a very smart basketball player, sees the court very well, and can hit big shots, you know what I mean, and can do special things on the court. So I always enjoyed watching him. So yeah, I'd go with Shane. For the other guard, I don't know who would go with the other guard, and so
Well,
I'll
it's
have to
you.
go.
Where are you playing? What position are you playing?
Oh yeah. But let's say I go 2.
Right, so it's you and Shane up top.
Yes. So then 3. Okay. Well, I would go for 4. I would go with Connor Grace. Connor played with Connor on the Irish team, and he's a really nice player to play with, and even to train with, you know. And sort of he's a great attitude, you know, and he makes everyone around him much better because he sees the court so well as well, and he's a really good player. Defensively, he's fantastic as well, you know. And inside, I would say I would look at. Do you know what? Actually, we came up against Mihal Quirk a lot in Tralee. Mihal used to give our Americans a dog of a time. Like he was tough, and you come to the end of the game, and the lads would be wrecked, and everywhere, and you'd see Mihal would have 25 points, you know, and he's savage player,
Unbelievable.
inside.
Unbelievable.
But he also had great vision. Though he was great, able to dish as well as sort of bang it down low, and he could hit that 15-footer. So he was well used to being in the trenches. So he was great. I think I would sort of break rank here and say, like, for 3, I would have to bring Damien Seeley. Like, Damo is Damo, for my eyes, one of the best players in that basketball league. That like what he can do and what he's done in the game and the accolades that he has. But there's no better player really that I've come up against. So yeah, I think in terms of Damo, like Damo was so consistent and could do. And like in the younger days, used to go down to Killester to watch him. You know what I mean? He was dunking all over the place, and he's so athletic, you know. But even towards the end, then like he could still drain that three no matter what. Like it was just natural to him. Like didn't matter where he was, what he was doing, just he could do everything. Yeah.
Tough ass defender as well.
Oh yeah, like he used to come down like to training and he'd just bait people around like for for a couple of nights a week, and he'd not a bother on him. Like he was as strong as a house, you know. He's just
fit as a fiddle. Like,
yeah.
He was always in like peak physical condition, always.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just he's super player. I must try and get him on actually. Love to sit down and talk to him.
Yeah, he'd be great.
Right, so changing gear, shifting lanes a little bit. Top 5 musical artists of all time.
Oh, of all time. All right. So I would say if I was picking now, I would go Prince. If I was listening I was just picking on what I'd be listening to now, I would go Prince. I like a bit of Prince. We went to see him in London. Remember he did those 30 nights in London. We went over for that. That was brilliant. He put on a great show. Saw Malahide as well. I like listening to Paul Simon. Paul Simon is great, seeing him a few times. I have a weird sort of range of music, right? So I'd listen to Bruce Springsteen as well. Luke Kelly. So the Irishness comes from my dad's side. I would have been stuck in many a van delivering meat or something with him, listening to Irish music or Kelly music. So like unbeknownst to myself, that was going into my head, and then all of a sudden I started to listen to it down the line, and I listened to that sort of stuff. And then I would say, how many was that? That was 4, was it?
4, yeah.
And I also like listening to Kings of Leon. There's another one I really like listening to them. So I've been to see them a few times. I look forward to coming back and seeing them now.
Of course, you can't wait for like a real gig.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just to get out, you know, and
not that socially distant thing that they did with James Vincent McMorrow, where you had your little sheep pen that you could dance in. Like that was just weird. Like I want a full crowd. Like I want to, have the queue to go to the Jacks for an hour. You know,
all the shit I used to hate. I want to get that again. Yeah. So
right. So you're the DJ. What 3 songs are we warming up to before tip off?
Oh geez, yeah. No, that's the thing. So my training stuff now would be a bit filthy and a bit dirty. So I would probably. Do you know what? Actually, Mark Keenan, when we were playing, you asked me to make up a mixtape, right? Because we used to be warming up. Mark Ingle, back when we were at Killester, right? Because we used to be with warming up to with Declan King, and so it'd be like Rock the Boat or Come On Eileen or whatever.
Isaac took umbrance to Declan's playlist as well.
Yeah. So Mark used to be like, "Will you get something together, right?" So I remember I was at the time just sort of going through on the internet trying to get stuff, and it was one of the things I got was the Bulls warm up tune, right? There's like the stuff that Jordan and Larry. I don't know what the name of it is.
It's the Alan Parsons Project, and the song is called. Hold on.
It's deadly to warm up to. It's deadly to warm up to. So we used to play. He used to play that.
You keep going there, and I'll find out what this.
Right. He used to play that. Right. I say when we came out of when the teams were introduced or whatever, and we did that, and then the last tune coming out that was deadly. So I'd go with that, and then I'd go with something like Underworld, Res or something like that, and then maybe what is the other one? Probably Daft Punk, I'd say something Daft Punk. Actually, have you ever heard that Alive '97 album? Something off that, like the first 4 tunes off that. Yeah,
So
I'd have to have a bit of beat in it.
It is Sirius by the Alan Parsons Project.
All right. Yes, yeah.
Gets you every time.
Do they still do it? Do they still play that? No way. It's deadly. Yeah.
What a tune! Yeah, brilliant. I love it. I was lucky enough to go and see the Bulls in the new United Center. They played the Seattle Sonics, and I had 5 from courtside seats on the halfway line beside the governor of Illinois, who a friend of mine had sold a Jack Russell to, believe it or not.
Right. This story's going mad.
Just such a random thing, like, you know. But he literally was able to call the governor of Illinois and go, "Can I get 2 tickets to the game?" And I got like courtside seats, like, but listening to Gary Payton talking shit like from courtside.
Right. Yeah.
Jordan had gone. Everyone they'd broken the team up. I can't remember what year it was, but yeah, just when that music hit, you could you were just chills,
you get the goosebumps.
Absolute chills. It was unbelievable.
That's cool.
Right, so you're a dad now, so you're allegedly a grown up and an adult. So what advice would you give 16-year-old Paddy if he was sitting in front of you?
Back then I would probably have said something like literally just be yourself, you know what I mean, and have courage in your conviction to go after what you want. You know, I think at that stage for me, I was probably I probably didn't have the confidence to go and do my own thing or sort of back my own decisions, and I probably was a bit more of a sheep in terms of just follow the crowd, you know, that sort of way. Whereas I look back now, I would have learned more by making mistakes at that stage, you know, that sort of way, and just sort of going for it, whatever you feel, you know, that sort of way. So yeah, I'd say just go for it. As in, if you have a feeling about something and you feel like it makes sense to you, then back yourself, you know, and have the confidence to stick with your decisions, you know. Great
advice. Back yourself. Always back yourself. If you don't back yourself, who's going to back you? That's
you know, and it's hard at that stage because you haven't got anything figured out, you know, that sort of way. But like if you were to at least try, you know, that sort of way, you'd learn more. And I think that's the thing, you'd learn more. Like you're not going to make everything work, you know, but you'd figure it out quicker, you know, probably.
Completely agree. 45, I'm still making mistakes, but you look, that's a different podcast altogether. Right, so second last question. Dead or alive, 5 dinner guests for dinner in your house tomorrow. Friends, family, or famous. The choice is yours. Who is sitting down to dinner with you tomorrow?
I guess I'd always would have said Jordan as the first one that you would have liked to meet. I think you'd be starstruck if you met him, you know, that's another, because like he was an idol growing up. I was the Jordan era, I guess others were the Kobe era, you know, and I guess even seeing The Last Dance was it sort of reinvigorated those sort of things again, you know, and it was
is that a Jordan fantastic. Is that the shot behind you? Is that the
that's The Last Shot? Yeah, so like that's to me, like that's just perfection, isn't it? Like it's
absolutely.
Last Shot, that's the way it finished, you know, and it was like it's fantastic. So I think for like to get his insight would have been great, you know. So I think him. I'm into technology, so I would say Steve Jobs would be another one that I'd like to talk to, as in he changed a lot. He had a great vision. I loved his book. His book was fantastic, and I just thought like the way his outlook on life was just it was amazing, the things that he saw at such an early stage. So that'd be great. I would bring my wife. She would definitely have to be there. And I think I would like a bit of a laugh as well. So I would think Billy Connolly, Billy Connolly back in the early days, you know, like the the late days where he's going traveling around this, that, and the other. No, the early days where he was, I used to think he was hilarious, you know, a great storyteller. And so, yeah, I like Billy Connolly. And then it would always be nice to have a bit of music, I guess. So I'd bring Bruce Springsteen. I think would be nice, you know what I mean? Catch up at the end.
Nice.
And I'd go one extra, which would be my nephew. My nephew Scott passed away when he was 17, so it'd be nice for him to meet those people as well. So yeah,
amazing. Well, look, that's a solid enough table. So quick follow on from that: are you cooking, or are we getting takeaway?
I think if you're having people over, it's always nice to cook. I've done that a few times, but I tend to. What happens is like it's if I end up cooking in the house, it always ends up being a lot more time consuming. You know what I mean? It's like you would know as a chef, right? It's all about timing. If you screw up that thing, it's always going to go, right? So I think, and like I find I'm not as chatty whenever I'm cooking inside, because like the party's going on over there and you're cooking or whatever. So I think if I was cooking, which I would, I'd do a barbecue. I think a barbecue is easy because you can sort of be floating around and you can stick stuff on and whatever, you know.
Have a beer and chill.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it's much more social, I think, to put stuff on the barbecue, have a few beers at the back and whatever else, and chat away. So that's the way I go about it, I think.
Amazing. Good shout as well. Yeah, timing is everything when you're a chef.
Everything. Yeah, and I don't know if I have that, and I've tried it a couple of times and I'm like, yeah, I should have done that better, or yeah, stuff is cold coming out and you're like, oh.
Paddy, that's me every day in work.
But you obviously get away with it, you know. So
yeah, look, so I'm still bluffing my way through my career 10 years later. So yeah, I'm doing something right.
The old microwave is great for that. Just checking the microwave.
Yeah. Well, we don't get that luxury.
Oh yeah, true.
Right. So look, first and foremost, thanks for sitting down with me. This has been a long time coming. I think we've missed each other and forgotten and everything between here and 3 months ago. But we finally got it done, thankfully. And look, I look forward to getting back on the court. Hopefully in Nev's runs when they get back up and running and
that'd be good.
Against you in the Masters at some point. Take it easy on me.
No, you're all right. You're all right. Yeah.
Yeah, you say that.
Nothing special. There's nothing special going on at the moment.
Come here and I tell you, those sessions 2 years ago, Paddy, you could still be doing it Super League right now if you wanted to.
No, I don't know. It doesn't feel that way.
How fit you were on your shot. You haven't lost a step, and there's hobbling up and down.
Thank you, but it doesn't feel like that. I tell you that now. It's been, I think, this last year now has been it's been a bit of a toll, you know, and it's like. You notice that even like this, you can't get out the door, you can't, you're just not moving as much, you know.
It's like, getting up in the mornings, Paddy. Are you starting to make those noises that when they happen, you kind of look around trying to figure out where they came from, and then you realize it's you?
Yeah, that's right. What did I stand on? Oh no, that is me.
I made that noise. Wow.
Yeah.
Never heard that one before.
Yeah, and then you block it out the next couple of days, and then you're all right, you know. That's
yeah. Back training, I'm great. Didn't feel a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, look. Hopefully we get back on court in August. That's what I'm aiming for. I'm living for the Masters, just for the social.
Yeah. Back exactly. Yeah.
Talking garbage with people that I haven't seen in a year and a half. You know.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Even just the social element, just getting up and down, and then whatever, getting out that night for a few beers, catch up with people. You know, I think that'll be good.
A taxi home anyway.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Right. So, last question: who would you like to see on the podcast?
Oh, I think I did. Well, like you said, Damien Seeley would definitely be one. I think Dame would have a few war stories. Who else? Scally would be a good one. Mark Scally, down Neptune, he'd give you the men's side and the women's side, which would be good. Mark Ingle was always a good one for stories. Yeah. Yeah, there's a few, you know.
Lovely, fair play to you. Right, Paddy, take it easy, and we'll talk to each other soon, hopefully.
Yeah, good to talk to you, Jago. Take care, man.
Bye. So there you have it, Paddy Kelly's episode. We finally got it done. It's only taken us 3 months. And I'm serious, Paddy can still give you work, so still be playing Super League without a shadow of a doubt. So head over to Instagram. It's Paddy's 5 against Scally's 5. Will Elaine Scally ever be beaten? That is the magic question. A big thank you to everybody who's contacted myself and Darren McGuinness after the last encyclopedic episodes. Great guy. I think I'm going to have to get Darren back on to continue on to talk about the Roy Curtis and all the past stuff with Larry O'Reilly. Great to see Larry O'Reilly reaching out on the Facebook page and actually commenting on the episode. So cheers for that, Larry. And for everybody else, if you haven't listened or you haven't shared it, please do so. It's a great insight into historical Irish basketball. And until Monday, no, that's a lie. That is a lie. Until Thursday, this is Jago saying, I'll see you on the court soon.